May I have your attention, please? I'd like to recognize Mr. Steve Skinner. Thank you, Mr. Skinner. If you would, please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you and welcome to tonight's meeting. We do appreciate you coming out to celebrate some achievements and awards with us and for allowing us to participate as well. Our first item of business will be the chairman's report, the consent agenda, which is comprised of the approval of the agenda, the approval of board meeting minutes for March 10th, 2025, the approval of the special call board meeting minutes of March 24th, 2025, and the approval of the board work session minutes for March 24th, 2025, the approval of the overnight field trips, and approval of the check registry. And those make up our consent agenda. And now we'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Ms. Fowler. We have a motion.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Hopper. We have a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed, do the same. It's unanimous. Thank you. And next, we have our superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Rollins. Welcome. We got a great crowd tonight. I know it's everybody coming to celebrate the end of school, right, kids? That's why everybody's here, to urge it on to the finish line. 5 weeks. 5 weeks. We can do it. But thank you all for coming. We're coming here to honor our children. We're honoring athletes. We're honoring our fine arts students tonight that have excelled. We're honoring some great, excellent students with some academic achievement. But before we start that, I would like to recognize any young person, any one of our students that had artwork in the Inman Mills exhibit. Would you please stand at this time if you had artwork honored outside in the lobby? And also, if you're a parent, please, this round of applause is for you. Great job, students and parents. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, join me down at the floor of the stage and we'll start our recognition program.
Good evening. Okay, sorry. Good evening. My name is Jason McCraw. I'm the Assistant Superintendent for Operations here in Spartanburg School District 1, and I have the pleasure of recognizing some of our great athletes from our fall and winter sports seasons. So, just to kind of make sure that we do this in an orderly fashion, if you are here because you are an award winner from fall or winter sports from Chapman High School, if you would, please make your way over here to this wall now. Go ahead and get up, make your way to this wall now, and we will call it out by sports teams and seasons, and that way everybody won't be moving while you are being recognized. just a few moments to let them get in place. So obviously, in both of our high schools, we have several students that play many sports or involved in other extracurricular activities. So while we will have an extensive list of names, please understand that a lot of our student athletes are participating in spring sports right now, or possibly even an orchestra concert that may be going on. So we will call their name either way and recognize them, but some of them may not be here. Please hold all of your applause until the end. Students, once you receive your certificate from Dr. Smith and Mr. Rollins, please make your way to the end of the carpet, and we're going to do a group picture at the end, okay? All right. First is football. We have Darian Burgess, All-Region Football. Next, we have Alex Cox, All-Region, All-State, and North-South All-Star team for football. Lewis McAllister, All-Region Football. Johnny Poland, All-Region Football. Jaden Mormon, All-Region Football. Next we have cheer. Savannah Byram, All-Region Cheer. Savannah Fife, All-Region Cheer. Courtney Robinson, All-Region Cheer. Shaylee Rogers, All-Region Cheer. Mackenzie Snyder, All-Region Cheer. Next we have volleyball. Rylan Ivy, All-Region Volleyball. Sarah Lancaster, All-Region Volleyball. Kimberly Mitchell, All-Region, Region Player of the Year, and North-South All-Star Volleyball Team. Alexa Stiert, All-Region, and North-South All-Star Volleyball. Next we have cross country. Benton Cantrell, All-Region Cross Country. Mason Deal, All-Region Cross Country. Thomas Wheeler, All-Region and All-State Cross Country. Next we have tennis. Sophia Coates, All-Region Tennis. Paige Mielek, All-State Tennis. Next we have girls golf. Adeline Todd, All-Region Golf. Next we have basketball. Chrislyn Britt Wilder, All-Region and All-State Girls Basketball. We have Graydon Humphreys, All-Region Boys Basketball. Colt McAllister, All-Region Boys Basketball. Aniston Smith, All-Region Girls Basketball. Kara Twitty, all-region girls basketball. We also have some wrestlers to win some awards. Damian Carrillo, all-region wrestling. Bryson Skipper, all-region wrestling. Silas Woodard, all-region, all-state, and the 138-pound state wrestling champion. Let's give these students a round of applause. While the students are making their way back to their seat, we have some coaches of the year at Chapman as well. So if those coaches of the year are here, would you please come forward and be recognized? Zach Beach, Region Boys Cross Country Coach of the Year. Allie Balden, Region Cheer Coach of the Year. Wesley Hatchett, Region Girls Basketball Coach of the Year. Kim Laborde, Region Volleyball Coach of the Year. Andy Pitt, Region Girls Golf Coach of the Year. And Jason Watson, the State Strength Coach of the Year in 3A. Let's give these coaches a round of applause as well. At this time, we'd like to ask all Landrum High School student athletes that are here to be recognized from fall and winter sports to do the same thing and line up on the wall, please. We'll give you a few moments to get there. So we'll start with football. Blake Bridges, all-region football. Ty Foster, all-region football. Brody Gosnell, all-region football. A.J. Lindsay, all-region football. Titus Pori, all-region football. Jaden Rose, all-region football. Cooper Tidwell, all-region football. And Dominic Whiteside, all-region football. Next we'll have volleyball. Gracie Adams, all-region volleyball. Presley Quinn, Region Player of the Year, All-State, All-Region, and North-South All-Star selection for volleyball. Emma Smith, All-Region and All-State volleyball. Next we have cross country. Ruby Kane, all-region, all-county, and all-state cross country. Ava Campbell, All-Region Cross Country. Avery Darby, All-Region Cross Country. Fate Hall, All-Region Cross Country. Anna Helton, All-Region Cross Country. Ava Helton, All-Region Cross Country. Dalton Horton, All-Region Cross Country. And Jaden Phillips, All-Region, All-County, and All-State Cross Country. Next we have tennis. Eva Burnett, All-Region and All-State Tennis. Amelia Campbell, All-State Tennis. Olivia DiNicola, All-Region Tennis. Abby Leonard, All-Region Tennis. Alana Taylor, All-Region, All-State, and Region Player of the Year in tennis. Next we have girls golf. Tallulah Phillips, All-Region Golf. Next we have basketball. Bennett Edwards, All-Region and All-State boys basketball. Kylie Fortner, All-Region, All-State, and Region Player of the Year for girls basketball. Hazel Kane, All-Region basketball. Sullivan Price, All-Region basketball. Cooper Tidwell, All-Region boys basketball. Next, we have wrestling. Isaac Jackson, individual state tournament participant and North-South All-Star team. Colson Martin, individual state participant. And Dominic Whiteside, individual state participant. Let's give our student athletes a round of applause. We do have some Coaches of the Year at Landrum, so if those coaches are here, please come be recognized as your name is called. Brad Harden, Region Girls Tennis Coach of the Year. Justin Henson, the Region Girls Golf Coach of the Year. Taylor Motts, Region Volleyball Coach of the Year. And Christina Wilson, the Region Girls Cross Country Coach of the Year. Let's give those coaches a round of applause as well.
Good evening. I'm Erica Center, the Director of Elementary Programs and Fine Arts here in Spartanburg District 1, and it is my pleasure to welcome all of our guests tonight. I will be recognizing all of our visual and performing arts students. If you were a student that had artwork on display at the Inman Mills Art Gallery out in the foyer area, if you would make your way over to this wall. Now, I do know that some of our students are younger, so if they don't feel comfortable, parents, please feel free to come with your child. It is both a privilege and honor to recognize the students who submitted artwork to be judged for the 2025 Inman Mills Art Gallery, as well as to celebrate this year's winner. We are fortunate to have so many incredibly talented students in our district. The Inman Mills Art Gallery is proudly displayed at the Spartanburg School District 1 District Office, and we are grateful for this opportunity to showcase our students' creativity. I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to Inman Mills for their continued partnership with Spartanburg District 1. Your support plays a vital role in spotlighting the amazing talent of our students. A special thank you also goes to Inman Frame House for their expertise in matting and framing the artwork. It truly brings each piece to life. We will begin this evening by recognizing all students who submitted artwork. Following that, we will announce and celebrate our winners. Thank you again for joining us tonight and for supporting arts in our schools. We will begin with Campobello Grambling School. When I call your name, if you will come forward to receive your certificate. Abigail Bauer. Madeline Cook. Katerin Shapanko. From Chapman High School, Libby Blackwell. Anna Bowling. Arden Sinclair. From Holly Springs, Motlow Elementary, Helena Fox. Lydia Mathis. Brinley Wilson. And I'm not sure if Lydia would stay up front for a picture. If you will stay up front for a picture, that would be great for a group picture. If not, that's okay. I understand. It's a little overwhelming in the spotlight. Inman Elementary School, Anna Coral. Evelyn Maslinchuk. Liam Weiler. Liam, come on, buddy. Good job. Inman Intermediate School, Elizabeth Pearson. Ricky Spate. Landrum High School, Jackie Gutierrez Jimenez, Ariana Mills, Sophia Perez, Landrum Middle School, Emily Chisholm, Tanner Gossett, Lily Justice, Mabry Middle School, Emily Babinko, Chayla Ear, New Prospect Elementary School, Briley Atkins, Jonathan Avdichuk, Emerson Pruitt. O.P. Earl Elementary School, Janae Cogdell, Bennett Henson, let's give all of our Inman Mills submissions a round of applause. Congratulations, students. Beautiful job, beautiful. Now it is my pleasure to introduce and celebrate our winners. Chairman of the board and board members, please enjoy the art prints that are at your seats. We thank you for your continued support of the visual and performing arts. These students will have their artwork proudly displayed in the Inman Mills Art Gallery for the 25, 26, and 27 school years. After that, their pieces will return to them as keepsakes for special achievements. And as all of you could see tonight, the judges had a very difficult decision in making a selection for these winners. The winners have been selected in 4 categories: kindergarten through 2nd grade, 3rd through 5th grade, 6th through 8th grade, and 9th through 12th grade. Students, if you will come forward when I call your name, you will receive a certificate, additional copies of your artwork, and a medallion. The winner for the primary category, 5K through 2nd grade, Tallulah Parker from O.P. Earl Elementary School. The elementary winner, grades 3rd through 5th grade, Antoniva Ivanova from Inman Intermediate School. The middle school winner for grades 6 through 8, Scarlett Hernandez Chavez, Mabry Middle School. And the high school winner, 9th through 12th grade, Juliana Nicoluk, Chapman High School. Let's give these students a round of applause. Congratulations for being named Inman Mills Art Gallery winners. Next, we will be recognizing band students. So if you are being recognized tonight in band, please make your way to the wall here. All schools. We will now recognize our South Carolina Band Directors Association All-Region and All-State Band students. When I call your name, please come to the front to receive your certificate. Starting with Campobello Grambling School. Nate King, All-Region Band. Isaac Morgan, All-Region Band. Abigail Wooten, All-Region Band. Chapman High School. Aaron Alsop, All-Region Band. David Armistead, All-Region Band. Isabella Collins, All-Region Band. Caleb Garrett, All-Region Band. Deacon Henson, All-Region Band. Adam Horton, All-Region Band. Jack Israel, All-Region Band. Aubrey Moose, All-Region Band. Susanna Mikolenko, All-Region Band. Riley Neves, All-Region Band. Johanna Ojadai Ortega, All-Region Band. Anthony Panay, All-Region Band. Dameron Perry, All-State Band. Leah Snizer, I mispronounced that, I'm sorry, Leah. Leah Snitzer, All-Region Band. Sam Slater, All-Region Band. Abigail Smith, All-Region Band. Charlie Sock, All-Region Band. Jackson Stokes, All-Region Band. Ryder Talton, All-Region Band. Sophia Varyava, All-Region Band. Owen Walker, All-Region Band. Jilliana West, All-Region Band. Amy Yudchuk, All-Region Band. Landrum High School. Reese Bergstrom, All-Region Band. Jared Chacon, All-Region Band. Rebecca Donaldson, All-Region Band. Dane George, All-Region Band. Kyrie Johnson, All-Region Band. Landon Ruby, All-Region and All-State Band. Quinn Smith, All-Region Band. Lily Staten, All-Region Band. Mabry Middle School, Anthony Makalenko, All-Region Band. Let's give all of our band students a round of applause. Miss Tessneer, that's a big group picture right there. If you're being recognized tonight for orchestra, please make your way to the wall. Orchestra students. Orchestra students. We will now recognize South Carolina Music Educators Association Region 1 Honors Orchestra students. Please come forward as I call your name to receive your certificates. From Campobello Grambling School, Gabrielle Palmer, All-Region Honors Orchestra. Evan Yadlovsky, All-Region Honors Orchestra. Chapman High School, Gracie Samples, All-Region Honors Orchestra. Zarina Bagmagzuk, All-Region Honors Orchestra. Landrum High School, Megan Lennon, All-Region Honors Orchestra. Mabry Middle School, Sophia Coates, All-Region Honors Orchestra. Lucas Rogers, All-Region Honors Orchestra. Addison Wilson, All-Region Honors Orchestra. Let's give these students a round of applause. Come on down to the middle. If you're here tonight to be recognized for chorus or choir, please make your way to the wall for chorus. Next, we will recognize Spartanburg District 1, South Carolina Music Educators Association Region Honors Choir, South Carolina American Choral Directors State Honors Choir, and American Choral Directors Association National Honors Choir. Please come forward as I call your name to receive your certificates. Campobello Grambling School, Evan Yadlovsky, All-Region Orchestra. Gabrielle Palmer, All-Region Orchestra, All-Region Choir. And Evan is also All-Region Choir. From Chapman High School, Jacob Bicknell, National Honors Choir. Lana Davis, All-Region Choir. Olivia DeMauro, All-Region Honors Choir, All-State Honors Choir. Gabby Isminger, All-State Honors Choir. Christopher Hamalia, All-Region Honors Choir. Delaney Jackson, All-State Honors Choir. Aiden Moss, All-State Honors Choir. Sadie Patterson, All-Region and All-State Honors Choir. Caroline Sims, All-State Honors Choir. Seth Smith, All-Region, All-State, and National Honors Choir. Ronan Walter, All-Region and All-State Honors Choir. Kai Williams, All-Region Honors Choir. Garrison Wright, All-Region and All-State Honors Choir. From Mabry Middle School, Nathaniel Blue, All-State Honors Choir. Sakura Bushner, All-State Honors Choir. David Cook, All-State Honors Choir. Xander Glover, All-State Honors Choir. Aniston Jackson, All-State Honors Choir. Eloise Camos, All-State Honors Choir. Amelia Parkinen, All-State Honors Choir. Sophie Grace Rollins, All-State Honors Choir. And Addison Wilson, All-State Honors Choir. Let's give these students a round of applause.
We actually had 2 athletes show up, so we're going to recognize those athletes that were able to make it from a prior sporting event. So for all-region volleyball, we have Miss Rylan Ivy. And for girls basketball, we have Chrislyn Britt Wilder, all-region and all-state girls basketball. Let's give the ladies a round of applause.
Good evening. I have the pleasure of recognizing junior scholars from Mabry Middle School. If you want to make your way down to the wall, we'll follow the same pattern that we've been doing tonight. Also, if you're from Campobello Grambling School and you're a junior scholar, please make your way to the wall. And also Landrum Middle School, make your way to the wall because we do have 27 junior scholars. Is that not amazing? I'm going to go ahead and clap on that one. So you may be wondering, what is a Junior Scholars Program? The South Carolina Junior Scholars Program identifies 8th grade students with exceptional academic talent and to develop strategies for their inclusion into special programs or opportunities. The program includes a process for screening a potential talent pool of students, identifying and recognizing those students with exceptionally high scholastic achievement and intellectual ability, and sponsoring summer opportunities in collaboration with participating South Carolina colleges and universities and the Governor's School for Science and Mathematics. The identification criteria in this program, junior scholar candidates are eligible if they score a 550 or higher on the evidence-based reading and writing portion of the PSAT and or score a 530 or higher on the mathematics portion of the PSAT. And we may need a clap again because half of them scored in both categories. Wow, that's amazing, so proud. I will denote tonight if they scored in both categories by just simply saying both ELA and math. Okay, because that's a big accomplishment as well. I'm going to start with Mabry Middle School, Violet Aho. Benjamin Bruce, scoring in both ELA and math. Sophia Coates, scoring in both ELA and math. David Cook, scoring in both ELA and math. Sheila Eyre, scoring in both ELA and math. Elijah Lowry, scoring in both ELA, and math. Sophia Rollins. Kinsley Settle, scoring in both ELA and math. Michael Simmons. Vigo Shaya, scoring in both ELA and math. Ty Sutton, scoring in both ELA and math. Kirsten Traffy. And that's at the end right there, but if y'all will remain standing, of Mabry Middle School. Next, beginning with Campobello Grambling School, we have Eden Bohan. Josiah Bozarth. Sullivan Holcomb. Nathaniel King. Martin Long, scoring in both ELA and math. Cole Moss. Delson Novak, scoring in both ELA and math. Reagan Owens. Gabriel Palmer. Landon Pruitt. John Branyan. John Branyan begins the Landrum Middle School column, as well as Avery Johnson, Madeline Rogers, Austin Sykes, who scored in both ELA and math, and Trace West in both ELA and math. Congratulations, y'all, to these students. Our final recognition tonight is one that is near and dear to our hearts and close to home. As we celebrate a student of a parent at our Spartanburg District 1 offices. So we feel like we've seen this child grow up, and we're so proud of him. The Clemson Life Program at Clemson University offers a collegiate experience that prepares young men and women with intellectual disabilities for competitive employment and independent living through a combination of academic coursework and career exploration. This program incorporates functional academics, independent living, employment, and social leisure skills in the public university setting with the goal of producing self-sufficient young adults. It is my pleasure and honor to recognize Gaines Tesnier, our first Spartanburg 1 student from Chapman High School, who has been accepted into the program. Gaines will make his way down, and as he does, his proud mother said it perfectly. Clemson Life shows the world what inclusion, purpose, and belonging truly looks like at a collegiate level. From a CGS Wildcat to a Chapman High School Panther, and we also Gaines here, honorary Landrum High School Cardinal, and now a Clemson Tiger. We congratulate you, Gaines Tesnier. Gaines, please join me in saying, "Go Tigers!"
Mr. Chairman, that concludes probably my best report of the year. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Thank you, everybody, for the participation. Thank you for allowing us to celebrate with you. And now, if you'd like to make your way out, we won't ask you to stay for the rest of the meeting. You're welcome to, but we understand if you want to get out.
Hey, Casey, can you dim the lights just a touch? It's reflecting off my forehead to blind the people. There, is that better? Thank you, Casey.
Thank you. Okay, our next item is our curriculum update. Mrs. Jody Wright.
Thank you, School Board. As mentioned last month, we are thrilled to be adopting a new math core curriculum in grades K through 12 from the state this year. Last month, the math adoption results and a link for your review of the materials were in your packet. As you are aware, Regulation 43-170 now requires local board approval for the textbooks. We ask tonight that you vote to approve the textbooks that were presented to you last month. These are teacher selections.
Thank you, Ms. Wright. Thank you, Mr. Banford. We have a motion.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Fowler. With a motion and a second, is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? It's unanimous.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, School
Ms.
Board.
Wright. Our next item is the personnel report. Dr. Beeson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, Dr. Smith, and board members, it is my pleasure to make a recommendation to you tonight for the next principal of O.P. Earl Elementary School. I want to acknowledge and thank Mr. Murray, who is here tonight. I want to acknowledge him for his service, and we wish you the best as you continue as a math coach. Can we give him a round of applause, please? Tonight, I would like to recommend Mrs. Ashley Foster as the new principal of O.P. Earl Elementary School. Mrs. Foster is not a stranger to Spartanburg One, as she started her career with us as a teacher assistant and has come through the ranks of teacher assistant, teacher, and assistant principal. At this time, for your approval, I would like to recommend Mrs. Ashley Foster as the new principal of O.P. Earl Elementary School beginning July 1, 2025.
I make a motion, we accept the recommendation.
Thank you, Ms. Baker. We have a motion.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Hopper. We have a second. With a motion and a second, is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? It's unanimous.
Mrs. Foster is here with her family tonight. Dr. Smith and Mr. Rollins, if you would like to go down, if you all would come up. Mr. Chairman, Dr. Smith, and the board, it is my pleasure to make a recommendation to you tonight for the Director of Student Services. I want to acknowledge and thank Mr. Josh Loso for his services as our Director of Student Services. Dr. DJ Brown has spent his career in Spartanburg 1, serving as a teacher, assistant principal, and principal, so he is also no stranger to Spartanburg 1. I would like to recommend for your approval at this time Dr. DJ Brown as the Director of Student Services beginning July 1, 2025.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend that we accept the motion as presented. I'll have to second that.
And Dr. Brown is here with his wife and children tonight, and I think he's trying to corral them. Yeah, they were feeding them chocolate chip cookies. I didn't know how that was going to work. They've had chocolate chip cookies. I think they're okay. Mr. Chairman, Dr. Smith, and board members, it is my pleasure to make a recommendation to you tonight for the new principal at T.E. Mabry Middle School. Again, I want to acknowledge Dr. Brown for his years of service in Spartanburg 1, from teacher to assistant principal to principal. We appreciate you. Can we give him a round of applause? At this time, I would like to make a recommendation for the board to approve Mr. Wayne Copeland, Jr. as the new principal of T.E., I think you have a fan club, of T.E. Mabry Middle School. Mr. Copeland currently serves as the assistant principal at Mabry Middle School. He is a career changer, having come from the business sector and entered the education profession as a teacher and then assistant principal. I would like to recommend for your approval, board, Mr. Wayne Copeland, Jr. as the new principal of T.E. Mabry Middle School beginning July 1, 2025.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve Mr. Wayne Copeland Jr. as the new principal for Mabry Middle School.
I'll second that motion.
And Mr. Copeland is here tonight with his wife and children. Ask if you all would come forward. For the rest of the personnel report, Board, I would ask that you approve the retirements that were in your board packet to be in effect at the end of the 24-25 school year. Both of these retirements have been approved for rehire by their principals as the working retired.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we accept the retirements effective at the end of the year 24-25.
Thank you, Ms. Fowler. We have a motion.
I'll second.
Have a second. Thank you, Mr. Skinner. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of accepting the retirements for this year, please signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? It's unanimous. Thank y'all.
Board, I would ask that you approve the resignations that were also found in your board packet effective at the end of the 2024-2025 school year.
Thank you, Dr. Beeson.
I make a motion, we accept the resignations.
Thank you, Mr. Skinner. We have a motion.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. McDowell. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you, Dr.
And finally, I would ask that you approve the employments for the 2025-2026 school year. These are since our March board meeting, and I want to thank the principals and their leadership teams for their work in hiring these fine educators.
Thank you, Dr. Beeson.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. When do I ask it?
After the motion.
Okay, okay.
I'll make a motion, we accept the hires for the 25-26 school year.
Thank you, Ms. Baker. We have a motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. McDowell. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, I have one question, and it may not be on this list, but I was looking over some. There were two coaches that were placed. I think one that was at Chapman and then one was at another. Were those new positions?
Coaches have not come through my office yet.
These were instructional coaches.
Oh,
They were on
instructional
your
coaches.
personnel list.
Yes,
Yeah.
the middle school.
I don't know which one it was on.
You're talking
I
about
can
the
take that, Dr.
middle
Beeson.
school academic coach and the high school academic coach.
Yeah, And I've got that, thank you. Great question, Ms. Hopper. So those are not new FTEs, those are repurposed FTEs. One was from a district office retirement where that person is retiring, and we repurposed that to put that support back in the school because we've not had academic coaches in the middle high schools in the last 7 years. And for us to go where we need to go, we're putting that support in the middle school and high school. And the other position was from an elementary school due to the Title I formula with the student-to-teacher ratio, and we had a little bit of play there, so that was from that other position. So neither one of these are adds. Matter of fact, as Lacey will tell you in a little bit, we're not adding any FTEs, any new positions to the budget next year. These both were repurposed, and our high schools and middle schools are extremely excited to get this academic support.
I have a question as well. I just want to make sure that based on all the resignations, the new employees have filled those positions? Just want to make sure.
That's why I was thanking the principals for their
Okay.
hard work,
All
because
right.
we were right on it, and they
Thank
were
you.
right on it.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any further discussion? I did notice again, we're getting a lot of experience with this group coming in. There, no further discussion. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? It's unanimous. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bishop. And our next item will be the finance report, Ms. Lacey Brady.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you'll open up your notebooks. Okay, in your left pocket is the presentation for this evening, and if you want to walk with me, I'm gonna. This presentation kind of summarizes everything in this notebook. This notebook kind of follows what we did last year. Kind of broke it out into different sections to make it easy to follow. But we'll just start and we'll just jump right in with the presentation. Casey? You'll hit next slide? Okay. This budget was based on the House Ways and Means budget. They added an additional $112 million to the state aid to classrooms. This increase was to increase the statewide minimum teacher salary scale from $47,000 to $48,500, which is an increase of $1,500 to all cells in the statewide minimum schedule. However, this budget does eliminate the bachelor's plus 18 scale and combines it with the bachelor's. Just a note on that, all Spartanburg County school districts, we're holding the bachelor's plus 18 group harmless. So they will receive the same $1,500 increase as all other employees. However, as we transition into next year, anybody that we hire that has a bachelor's plus 18 will be hired on the bachelor scale. But the current employees that we have right now that are on the bachelor's plus 18, they will continue to receive pay on that scale. The cost for Spartanburg 1 to fund this $1,500 increase with benefits was a little over $800,000. That $1,500 increase to teachers is an average 2% increase per teacher. Also included in the House and Ways Means budget was a 2% increase to the statewide minimum bus driver scale. The House and Ways Means did not increase the employer premiums for state insurance. However, I do have a note of an update on that later on in this slideshow. But the budget that is presented before you does not include an employer increase. Okay, next slide, please. Also included in the state's and the House Ways and Means budget is a mandate to give all teachers a step increase. That step increase with benefits cost the district a little over $500,000, and the average step increase per teacher is 1.5%. Also included in this budget is a step increase for all other employees, and that cost is around $225,000 with benefits. We have also included another percent increase of 1.5% to all other staff, and that, the average step increase for all other staff is 1.5% as well, and included in your budget is an additional 2% to all our employees, and that is a 3.5% across the board increase to all teachers and all employees. Next slide, please. Other increases in this budget, on January 1st, 2025, there was an 11.5% increase in health insurance. We will have to recognize the other portion of that increase this year, which is about $350,000. We have some final cost absorptions from our ESSER program. They equate to about $250,000. We've added weapons detection at the middle schools for $226,000. We've incorporated the employee Christmas appreciation paid to all employees, which costs around $110,000. There's some increased tuition cost, mainly to McCarthy and Tesler. That's included in this budget at about $100,000. We also have our district, a satellite program at Landrum High School that is with Spartanburg School District 7. We have a teacher and 2 teacher assistants in that classroom, and we get to bill District 7 for that funding, but you will notice an increase in expenditures in this budget for those, and you'll also notice a revenue line item for the exact amount of the cost of salary and fringe that we will receive from District 7. This budget does include some increases due to some decreases in federal and state funding, including Title I, CERDEP, CATE, and Medicaid. The biggest decrease that we have is related to Title I, but I wanted to point out that the CERDEP program and the CATE program and our Medicaid funding, that funding is pretty stationary, so we get the same amount of funding every single year, and as salary and fringe increases, we have to take on that additional cost to the general fund. And so that total cost in changes in all of that state and federal funding was about $250,000 addition to the general fund operating budget. We've also included some transportation cost increases, including their salary and fringe increase, as well as additional hours to our transportation staff. Those additional hours that is to make sure that we can maintain those bus driver workers. We have some bus drivers who are doing lunch monitoring, things of that nature during the day while they're not driving the bus. And then we have some other changes, which would be changes in other purchase services, like some of our software subscription and things of that nature that equate to just about $140,000. Okay, next slide, please. This slide is we've had this slide in several of our presentations before, but it just kind of encompasses everything that we've talked about. And the total increase to our budget from last year is a little over $3.7 million, as you can see below. Next slide, please. The next slide looks over our local revenues. Again, this is kind of a repeat from past presentations. It shows you the increases. And this slide shows local revenues. The green column represents the budget that we approved for 24-25. The light blue column beside it is where we feel like we're going to land at the end of FY 24-25, and that red column is the difference between those two. The darker blue column is what we are proposing or what we are estimating local revenues to be for FY 25-26, and that final light green column is the difference between the proposed budget for 25-26 and what was approved for FY 24-25. And you can see that our local revenue growth is about $1.8 million. And below, we have that new intergovernmental revenue line item, which is what we're projecting from District 7, which is about $193,000. Next slide, please. The next slide looks at our state revenue projections. Again, this is very similar to our local revenue projections. But what I want to point out is as we have gone through the 24-25 school year, we have lost about $450,000 from the state. So when we received our 45-day allocations from the state, we lost about $450,000. We do not know, we have not received an update of our 135-day allocations right now. I'm hoping to have those when we come back for our second reading. Then the 25-26 is what the state is proposing to give us based on our 45-day reporting. And they will give us some additional or another allocation based on our 135-day, hopefully sometime within the next couple of weeks. Did you have something?
Yeah, I think I'd jump in here and give the update.
Sure, absolutely.
I think that would be appropriate because the last time we met at the work session, I told you that there were obviously issues with the funding with the state where we were not getting the allocation that we thought, and it was really that the new monies of the $112 million from the state or from the House and the Senate, 81% of that, based off the calculations we were given from the state, were going to charter schools, and 19% were going to the traditional public schools. So I've talked to Quincy Moore. She is the executive director of SCASA, South Carolina Association of School Administrators. So they've been working hard with all the folks, and there's some encouraging report there. I just want to tell you who they've talked to. They have talked with the governor's office. They have talked with Ellen Weaver. They have talked with House and Senate Finance Committee members, and there is a lot of hope to get this resolved. And y'all remember that the new funding formula came out 2 years ago. This is the third year of the new funding formula. And they're having some issues with that. And that's what Quincy is telling me and the other superintendents that, and not to get in the weeds with it, but they're experiencing issues with the formula. They're working with the powers that be to fix it. And she says there's a lot of momentum to correct it. Now, it will be a Band-Aid solution this year because ultimately some part of the formula is failing. So basically, I think they've tried to help the charter schools because obviously they don't have a tax base to tax, but as best I can describe it quickly is the formula has gotten wonky this year, and the way Quincy, right now, she feels like they're going to be able to address that with a Band-Aid for this budget and then a hopeful permanent fix for next budget. But there's a statewide, she's got 2 more meetings this week, and then there's a statewide superintendent meeting this Friday at 2 o'clock that Lacey and I will be a part of. So she's encouraged. So I'm encouraged. Now, she didn't give me a number. There's no way she's going to give me a number. But you know, the number we're looking for is more because we were shortchanged. I mean, we were, it was significant. I would say to the tune of around a little over $1 million, right, Lacey, that we...
Yes, sir.
That we thought we were going to be allocated based off our numbers. So they're working on it. That it's going to go back to House 2. The Senate has approved the budget. It's going to go back to the House. So then the House can do the House 2 bill budget. Then they can go to conference committee and help get this ironed out. So what I'll do is keep you all in the loop. Because it will probably be something where we will want to contact our local legislatures to let them know that we would love for them to support this fix so that we can get the money that was due us. Because again, just to recap, of $112 million in funding to fund the teacher raises this year, as of now, we're only getting 19% of that statewide. The public school, the traditional public schools. The charter schools right now are getting 81%. And you know that's $90 million to 3 charter school networks and $21 million to 72 school districts. That doesn't make sense on any level, no matter who you are. So, but there has been an appetite to fix it, so that's encouraging. So I will keep y'all in the loop, but I did want to give you that update.
Thank you, Dr. Smith.
Dr. Smith, Lacey, I would just like to add, me coming from the background that I have with school finance, I still in contact with a lot of board members at school districts I worked, and I've had some discussions. And just to give you those that are here, the effect possibly that it would had on School District 3, they would be able to, with this cut, they would only be able to operate 2 years from their fund balance. So it's very critical, and people need to pay attention of how it is affecting our school districts in Spartanburg County and across the state. So I appreciate anyone that stayed and is willing to listen to all of this too, by the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hopper. And I will say that after speaking with all Spartanburg County School Districts, we're all in the same boat. We're all, I mean, we've lost a lot of money this year. And as you can see over here in this state column, we only are gaining a little under $500,000, and the majority of that is based on our Tier 3 funding.
Quick question, our 45-day numbers versus 135-day, I'm assuming 135 is an increase in numbers?
I'm gonna assume,
Okay,
I'm gonna be honest with you, I have not looked to see what the difference is on our
Okay.
135 and 45-day, but I can look at that.
Okay, just
I
curious.
will say this, though, even though we have an increase, it doesn't always mean that we'll gain money because of that formula. It's so wacky, so.
And I want the board to know that we've had Josh Loso, because, and there's like a lot of confusing stuff with this, but just so you know, we get added weighting for certain students, like special needs students, Kate students, and so forth. So we've had Josh Loso working with a fine-tooth comb to find any weighting. So we feel like we have found every additional weighting that we can. So when I say we are looking for every dollar, we are looking for every dollar. And Josh has gone through each department, special ed department, gone through our Kate department. He has gone through, what else was it?
Fine arts.
Fine
The
arts,
GT.
gifted and talented. He's worked with each one of those directors or assistant superintendents because we're looking for every dollar. And we found several. Now, we hadn't found $1 million worth, but we have found several that we wouldn't have gotten if we wouldn't have been going to look with that fine-tooth comb. So we're searching for everything on our part.
So in all, between our local and our state, we're looking at a total increase in revenues of just shy of $2.5 million. Next slide, please. So here's where it gets ugly. So our projected revenues for FY 25-26 is just under $66 million, and our projected expenditures for 25-26 is just over $67 million. And so right now we're looking at a shortfall of about $1.2 million. This is kind of where I'll stop right here and just say I did this budget a little bit differently because as Dr. Smith had said before, you know, last year what I try to do is I try to give you a list of things that have changed. So if we've added positions or taken them away, things of that nature, but we didn't do that this year. So that's why this looks differently. Everything that's additional is just related to mostly mandates from the state. All right, next slide, please. This is a kind of just a breakdown by object. These sheets are also in your packet. I wanted to show you the difference in salaries and fringe, purchase services, supplies over the past several fiscal years. Next slide just breaks it out by function, which is your instructional and your support services. And this kind of breaks out your student enrollment and kind of gives you a per pupil expenditure in relation to instructional and support. Okay, next slide, please. And then these, I just kind of, I always try to include these. This kind of gives you a breakdown of a graph of our objects. And as you can see, salary and fringe make up 87% of our total budget. And then we have purchase services right behind that, supplies, and then transfers to student activities. And those transfers to student activities is what helps our athletics and our band programs and other student activity programs at the schools. Next slide, please. This is our purchase service breakdown. It shows what makes up that amount. The majority of our purchase services is tuition costs to other local education agencies such as McCarthy Tesler, Swofford, the District 2, which is the USC Upstate, the Scholars Program, things like that. Right behind it, we have our SRO contracts and our weapons detection. Then we have our contract services. Our contract services includes our contracts for substitute as well as the contract for our athletic trainers. Thank you, Mr. McCraw. And then software subscriptions make up about 13%. That's our software subscriptions district-wide, such as iReady, things like that. Next slide, please. I'll just briefly go over expenditure breakdown. The majority of these are utilities. And then we have the next would be the grounds, custodial, and operation supplies, and then our allocations to our schools is just under 15%. Okay, next slide. All right, so what's not included in this budget is the Senate version of the budget. We have not received anything from the Department of Education in relation to that. It is, to our knowledge, the Senate did agree with the addition of the $112 million in state aid classrooms to fund the $1,500 increase to all teachers. They also agreed to maintain the collapse of the bachelor's and bachelor's plus 18 categories of the salary schedule. Initially in the House Ways and Means budget, there was an increase for the employee for the state health insurance premiums, but the Senate has removed that and is now putting it back on the employer for a 4.6% employer increase beginning January 1, 2026. The total cost of that is estimated to be about $160,000 district-wide for Spartanburg 1. We will get some additional revenue from the state, and so I'll let you know how we shake out as far as getting additional revenue versus the actual cost of that. Next slide, please. This is kind of one thing I also wanted to bring your attention to. There is a House bill about paid parental leave. It is increasing the paid parental leave from 6 weeks to 12 weeks and from 2 to 4 weeks for employees not giving birth for eligible state employees beginning October 1st, 2025. I just kind of wanted to put this in perspective for you as a cost for the District 1 from a financial standpoint. They don't give us any more funding for this, and it's kind of hard to estimate where we land on this, so I kind of took the lowest and the highest cost of what I've seen this cost the district.
Lacey, let me jump in here just for a second.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
But board, this came out of nowhere.
It did.
This was supposed to not impact school districts, and they did not take us out of it, so we are in it. Now, they say they are working to get us out of it, but I don't know. I think we got to prepare on this one. I don't have a good feel that this one is going to be corrected. SCASA and the School Board Association has both tried to fight this, but this came out of left field and was done before we even knew about it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes. What constitutes an eligible state employee?
That would be it would be any employee of the school district.
Okay, so for us, it's any of our employees. Okay.
So just kind of show you what this means. When we have an employee out for maternity leave, that creates what's considered a long-term sub position at that school, and so we do contract with our provider for that, and the lowest cost of that for 12 weeks for maternity leave would be about a little over $10,000 per employee. However, there are circumstances where they are able to get a teacher who is a certified teacher, meaning they hold a state teaching certificate, and in those events we pay them on the teacher scale based on their education and what their certificate says. So for someone that may have a master's with 28 years, that cost goes up to just shy of $33,000 per employee. So we had, as of this week, we had close to about 18 or 19 employees who have been on maternity leave this year, and so that if you take that amount for next year and put a cost, is anywhere from $194,000 up to over $600,000, depending on the qualifications of the substitute that will fill that teacher's position. So all I have is bad news. I will say that the paid parental leave and the health insurance cost, I do not have anything in our current budget for those. We're kind of just waiting to see how that shakes out with the state. So I'll come back with an update at the second reading. But I would anticipate that there's a possibility that our expenditures would go up from this $1.2 million shortfall. Next slide, please. And finally, before we go into budget timeline and questions, I wanted to remind you of our teacher equalization program. In FY 22-23, all Spartanburg County School Districts began the Teacher Equalization Initiative, where each school district would begin to contribute millage to an account held at the Spartanburg County Treasurer's Office to increase teacher salaries. In FY 22-23, each district contributed 2 mills, and then each year thereafter, each school district will continue to increase that by 1 mill. For FY 24-25, each school district had contributed 4 mills to that. Another mill will be added in FY 25-26 by each school district by either raising operating millage by 1 mill or reassigning an operating mill from current operations. The first reading of this FY 25-26 budget is based on raising the 1 mill for teacher equalization. Okay. Before I'm gonna go briefly over this packet real quick. In your board packet, I sent this to you electronically. You have the budget summary, the revenue, the expenditures of what that all looks like by function. I also sent you the budget request forms from all the departments, as well as what we are currently anticipating allocating to each school district. What was not included in your board packet and is included in this notebook would be information on millage. If you turn to section 6, I include this every year, and what this shows you is that if there were to be an increase or a talk of a millage increase, it looks at what your cap is from year to year, as well as your 3-year look-back period millage that you could pick up on if that were to be any sort of discussion. If you look at section 7, I have your debt service fund budget. Next year, we're looking at bringing in about $21 million in revenues, but all of that is not due to local revenue. About $14 million of that is related to state source revenue and local revenues, and then we get transfers in, and what that is where we buy and sell the short-term bonds to pay off our short-term debt. And then we have about $16 million in principal, interest, and fees for FY 25-26. Behind those pages, I give you kind of a snapshot of what our revenues have looked like for the past several fiscal years, as well as what we're estimating and proposing for FY 25-26. And I've also included...
Lacey?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you slow down just a minute? The surplus on that debt service fund, does that surplus just sit there? What happens?
It does.
with that?
It just kind of sits there, and that kind of gives us some
roll it over into
flexibility.
make payment, whatever. Okay, just
Correct.
want to make sure. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And then behind that, I just kind of give you an idea of what our current outstanding long-term debt is and what those principal and interest payments will be for the life of that debt. Is there any questions that you have for me at this time before we start looking at capital? Good. All right. Mr. McCraw? I'm going to turn it over to Mr. McCraw now.
So Ms. Brady should have put or placed in your notebook, section 8, the capital plan, draft capital plan for 25-26. But before we do that, I just kind of want to give you an update on where we are for 24, 25. So if you remember, in our current capital plan, we shared with you all that we went aggressive. Sorry, my computer's not.
Hey, Jason, just real quick, just board, it's in section 8 of your budget workbook. Did I get the number right, Barbara?
Yeah.
8, section 8, if you'd like to turn there. Sorry.
So just giving you an update on current 24-25 capital plan. If you remember, you guys approved a $5.7 million capital expenditures for our current school year. And if y'all remember, in many discussions that we had over the months, I told you spending $5.7 million is pretty hard. Really, really hard. Specifically because we are procuring everything the appropriate way, which takes time. When you request bids, do RFPs, RFBs, RFQs, it takes a significant period of time. So just to give you an update, as of today, we are currently sitting at having taken out of capital funds for this current school year, 24-25, $2.525 million out of the originally requested 5.7, okay? Does everybody understand? So that's where we currently are. The vast majority of those funds have been spent from district office on repairing things such as classrooms at OP Earl, new furniture across the district, a lot of those big ticket items, roofing, HVAC, a lot of those things have been spent. We also had a significant amount of storm damage back in the fall from the hurricane. A lot of those funds have been spent there, obviously been reimbursed by what was covered under insurance, but we still took those funds to cover the cost out of the capital budget prior to receiving the insurance funds, okay? So just kind of wanted to give you that update of where we are on this current year's capital expenditures, okay? We budgeted 5.7, and we've currently spent roughly 2.525, okay? And I've got it almost to the penny. There's a couple outstanding invoices, but when you talk about that significant amount of money, one or two invoices throw some numbers off. So just kind of wanted to give you that information.
So the 2.5 million expended, does that include some things that are going to be reimbursed, or is it separate?
It does include some things that are going to be reimbursed.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Rollins?
So then, did some of the projects that weren't completed or weren't addressed, did they just roll into our future plan?
Yes, sir, that's exactly right. And one of the things that we've talked about that Dr. Smith wanted to make sure that we put in there, and you will see at the end, and I know you guys got this on Friday, I think, so you probably haven't had a ton of time to spend looking at it. Obviously, this is not, I will add to it, and I always highlight when I add to it. I can tell you now, one of the things that come up today in my discussion was with transportation. You will see that we've added various areas. Academic arts, we talked about instruments, band uniforms. We know those are not cheap. We've talked about our CAPE program. We've got, truthfully, I was giving Casey a hard time earlier, but we've got almost $700,000 in technology that's going to be coming out of capital, okay? So we've tried to increase how we impact our district from top to bottom, right to left. But if there are some of those projects, Mr. Rollins, that were on this current school year, we would just roll them over. Now, there are some exceptions to that, okay? Let me give you an example. We had some doors, okay? If y'all remember, we had doors, safety and security. Well, what did we get? We got a grant, right? A safety grant, $400,000 worth of safety grant. So we're not going to have to take that out of capital now. So if The doors disappeared from capital. That's because we have a safety grant to pay for those doors. So there's some unique situations like that that would not have rolled over, okay? But on the very last page, if you, real quick, if you flip to the very last page in that section 8, what you will see is what I was mentioning earlier. No funds, no dollar amount associated to this, but is a 3-year and 5-year targeted item capital plan, okay? These are bigger, larger ticket items that we plan to take care of or address over a 3-year window or a 5-year window, okay? Now, obviously, when we meet in a couple of weeks and we talk about our future building plan, that plays a pivotal role in the 3- and 5-year capital plan, okay? Pivotal role. If we don't move forward with the construction of new schools, that's going to look totally different, okay? So when we put this extended capital improvement plan together with the 3-year targeted items and the 5-year targeted items, just in transparency, we built it with the hope of being in construction really soon for some new schools that we've been talking about in our work sessions, okay? So this is something that's a little bit different. So if you see something, back to Mr. Rollins' question, if you see something from 24, 25 that we haven't got done, it may not be on 25, 26, but you may find it in year 3 of this capital plan, okay? What we don't want to do is spend $500,000, $750,000 on Mabry when we're going to hopefully, prayerfully, I don't know what other word y'all want me to use, we can build us a new school, okay? So there has been some serious thought go behind why we are planning how we're planning. So I did want to share that with y'all. I don't have to go through this line by line, okay, unless you just specifically want me to. But as you see, again, this is, as we want to call it, the first reading, okay? Give y'all some time to think about it, not asking for a vote. When we make additions or subtractions to it, the next time you guys see it, we'll highlight those so that you are aware of them. We will make notation of that so that you're aware of it. But as of today, the plan that we are presenting to you for 25, 26 is right at just under $5.8 million. Now, I'm gonna say this again. Okay, this is aggressive. This is dream works. The way we procure, which is by the book, okay, the time it takes for projects to get done, the time it takes for even bidders to bid. If y'all remember, we tried to replace the fire alarm system at OP Earl, and how many bidders did we have? 0. 0. All of those things take into account how we're able to spend these capital funds, okay? And just because we have them doesn't mean that we just want to spend them. We want to spend them appropriately. To give you an idea, 23-24, okay, last school year, for the whole school year, whole fiscal year, we spent right at, I think, don't hold me to this, but roughly $2 million total for the whole school year. We're already over 2.5, and we still got 2.5 months to go, and I'm going to tell you, we're going to continue to be working, so that number is going to push a little over $3 million by the close of the books this summer for this current school year. So sure, as I've told y'all, I like to be aggressive. What I don't want to do is come in here and to ask y'all if we can spend $1.5 million, and then I have to come back and ask y'all in December, can we bump the capital budget up because I need to spend another $1.5 million, okay? So, again, if you want to ask questions, feel free. I don't know that if we want to go through this item by item, but I'm open for questions. Mr. Rollins?
Yes. Can you talk to us about turf on the practice field?
I can, yes, sir. Be happy to. So, if you remember, we talked about weight room expansion, okay? And we've talked about that for a couple years now. And Dr. Smith, it's been a vision of his because of some safety concerns that we've experienced firsthand at Chapman High School. And with the approval of the board, we were able to install new weight room equipment, safer spacing at Chapman High School. Landrum High School is not running currently the numbers that Chapman High School is running, and they had previously purchased some new equipment there a couple of years ago to make their weight room safe, or safer than it originally was. So what we were looking to do was look at a way to expand the weight room. We can't expand the four walls without building something new. Remember this discussion? We can't expand the four walls and make the square footage of that space any bigger. So we wanted to talk about creating an outdoor space so that we could move those athletes to the outside, so you'd have some outside and some inside. And if you remember, we talked about a small agility field with possibly a sand pit. Y'all remember that conversation that we had? That was what was in this current year's budget for $250,000 per high school. We, after looking at that and talking to many turf people through that decision and going back to our coaches, athletic directors, school staff, we kind of pumped the brakes and said, all right, let's do a little bit deeper dive to what we really need. Because the concern was, where are you going to put the small field, okay, at both locations? I thought I had a great idea. When I presented the great idea, everybody wasn't on board with it. And that's why we're a team, right? Because we want to do what's best for it. So after many conversations with the school's coaches, athletic directors, Dr. Smith, we just couldn't get a good feel on that being the true need. Most of them said, we're going to put an agility turf area that we're not going to be able to use. All sports aren't going to be able to use it. It's only going to be able to use for weightlifting. However, if we look at turfing an entire practice field, it can be used by all sports. It can be used while it's raining. Obviously, we're not going to be out in lightning, but while it's raining, it can be better utilized across the whole school community than just a small agility turf field. So that was the consensus that we got from discussion. So then I started going back to our turf people, contractors, various contractors, and having conversations with them. And so they told me, they said, Mr. McCraw, you can put this small turf field here. You can do it with a sand pit, or you don't have to do it with a sand pit. But that small turf field's going to cost you $280,000, almost $300,000 for something that you only going to get to use for a short period of time. Let's go measure a practice field. I said, uh-oh, y'all kind of scared me. We're talking about something big. I said, okay. So we went, here at Landrum High School, we went and measured the practice field right by the road, okay? The one at the driveway that if you came in by the tennis courts, that one. And at Chapman, we measured the practice field to right in the outfield of the softball field, okay? Those are the two fields, almost identical in size. Didn't know that, okay? We treat them with chemicals and all that, but almost identical in size. And the turf guy that I talked to, who has done many turf fields in the upstate of South Carolina, he said these would be the two best places to do it. I said, well, I need some budgetary items. I need some budgetary information to help me at least present to our school board, our superintendent, our coaches what we need to do. So he came back with those numbers. I inflated them, not gonna lie. I like that cushion. Y'all know me by now, okay? I like that cushion. But you could do the whole turf field, the whole practice field at both of those schools for roughly $535,000 to $555,000 per field, okay? So we were asking $250,000 per school last year. That's what's on your last year's budget, okay? We have not spent that. We have not accomplished that task. So what we're coming to now is, after discussion, more detailed discussion, more information, we believe the best use of the money would kind of take the $250,000 that we didn't spend, add another little $300,000 to it, and be able to turf those fields and be able to put logos on them where all athletes could take weight room can go down there, push their sleds, use all their equipment on it during the school day, and every athletic team that we have could use that field in the evenings or after school. We just feel like, yeah, it's a more significant cost, but we feel like, and I'll let Dr. Smith speak to it if he has something to add, we just feel like that's getting more bang for our buck as a taxpayer, as a district administrator, that's just a better use of our funds.
Yeah, and I would say our two new ADs got here, so they had some input and they talked with the coaches again. And once they started telling Jason and I don't know if this is going to work, we didn't want to waste the money. So if this is not going to meet the need, because the whole point was to add additional space, and if that's not going to work, then I don't want to force it. And then that's when we led to these discussions, and the coaches through the ADs have said it will generate the space needed to do the strength and conditioning, but the benefit is all teams can touch it and you can't wear it out. And again, we're not talking about game field here. We're talking about, they're not even full size, right, Jason? It's not a full, it's like 80 yards instead of 100 or 70.
95 yards total. Where a game field is your 120 plus your end caps.
Yeah.
Much significant.
So this was us trying to listen to our folks, what they say we need without wasting the money. And that's why we chose to put it in here instead of just going through what we said and y'all graciously approved last year. But we can welcome to take questions on that.
I have one question for you. So I noticed the difference between the two spaces at both schools. And I believe that the space we're talking about at Landrum was at one point in time going to be the practice field for the band. Correct? And then they decided they would rather practice in the parking lot. So now they currently practice in the parking lot. If they ever wanted to practice on a field in the future, where would that be able to take place here on this new turf field?
Sure.
Oh, this field would be for all students, whether that's band, ROTC. We would coordinate it through the athletic directors, but absolutely, they could work that out.
Jason, what about maintenance?
Great question. On the turf?
What type of maintenance would be necessary?
So on the turf field, there is a required maintenance. Believe it or not, it has to be disinfected. Okay, it has to be disinfected. And it has to be, it's actually, most of them have gone from when they originally started turf fields, they had rubber pellets. And I don't know, I've played on them before, and the rubber pellets would get in your shoes, and it was a nightmare, okay? Now they've gone to more of a spruce pine, almost cork feel. And sometimes you have to have it, for lack of a better term, drug like you would drag a baseball field to make sure that that component that provides the softness is spread evenly. So disinfected, and that would be the main maintenance on it. And that would not be every year either.
And what is the life expectancy, say, of the first, if it goes through?
Great question. Great question. I will tell you this: the representative I spoke to said if you don't have lacrosse, because apparently lacrosse wears the goalie area out. If you don't have lacrosse, you get 10, maybe even 15. He said, but if you have lacrosse, you will have to replace portions of that field every 3 to 5 years because of just the nature of the sport.
Jason,
so I'm looking for 10 to 15 years.
Are we looking at lacrosse?
No, sir, not at this time. Just do from a body standpoint. Boy, the coaches would run Jason and I both out of here if we open that can of worms. We just don't have enough students at this time.
Jason, I have a question. Is there an option for an antimicrobial turf field? And would it cost more, and would that benefit us in the long run without having to maintenance?
I don't know of anything like that, but I will definitely ask and find out for sure.
Jason, this is a simple question. I appreciate your following the accountability that you're bringing out of what you have to do with doing capital projects, following procurement and everything, because that's very important. Okay, this is just a simple thing. I would like for you to add, since this is a draft, if you could add possibly at Landrum and Chapman, both the baseball fields where the bullpens are. I don't know about Landrum, but I know about Chapman. Chapman's bullpen, when visitors come, it is horrible. If those pitchers don't get hurt, sprain an ankle or something, and I mean, I've actually walked down there myself and looked at it. Now, it needs some dirt put in there now that I know they're addressing. But I thought, well, if we're gonna go as far as a practice field of turf, why couldn't we take a little bit more and add to our bullpens and make them appropriate for our players and our visitors when they come? You know, simple, to me, that's a simple thing. Thank you.
I'm also adding it for softball. Sure, I'd be happy to.
I have a question. Just, can you talk to me a little bit about your philosophy and how you prioritized? Did you take the facility study? Because I know they've got, 1, 2s, and 3s, and et cetera, and maybe put it in, kind of toss it up with our potential building plan. What was your reasoning behind the?
You've hit the nail on the head. Facility study is the driving factor, because honestly, I don't know that we're going to be able to build or not, okay? So we've got to go with the information that we got. But what I don't want to do is be too aggressive on some schools that we are prayerfully, hopefully, whatever other word y'all want to use, wishfully, trying to build. And what I really looked at was long-term. Where are the schools that we know we're going to be long-term, okay? And we talk about the 2 high schools. And y'all, these 2 high schools, can you believe this building's 20 years old? I mean, it's phenomenal. The 2 high schools, we know we're going to be there for a while. We know we're going to be at New Prospect, or we may be going to make some additions, Holly Springs, some additions, some driveways. Sure, but we know we're going to be there. Landrum Middle, we know we're going to be there. So that was really facility study, wishful building plan, and just those buildings that we know we're going to need for the next, way after I'm gone. That was my philosophy on doing it. Obviously, after years of this, talking with principals, athletic directors, they know, they reach out to me, hey, we really need to do this. And they sometimes quit, did you get that? And I'm like, yeah, I got it, it's in my notes. So I always jot things down. If you've ever seen me, I've always carried a notebook taking notes, because that's just how I operate. So a lot of that input from the people that are walking these halls daily is important as well. Mm-hmm. Any other questions?
Just a kind of a specific one. I noticed new wooden gym floor at Landrum Middle, and others are getting synthetic. Is it just a usage, or I was just wondering why they weren't getting a synthetic if it's less
That's a great question. So we know that Mabry, y'all saw that floor. It looks really cool if you've been there to a game. It's neat. My son's played on it. That's a synthetic floor. We have that current same type synthetic floor at New Prospect. As we look to change floors, okay, something stood out to me, and I've never really shared this with many people, but I'll share it with you. We took a trip to McCarthy-Tesler. It's been a couple years now. McCarthy-Tesler has a tile gym floor. McCarthy-Tesler has some really vulnerable kids. And when those kids fall on that tile floor, there's nothing to protect them. That's really been a burr in my saddle for a long time. Now, I don't have anything to do with McCarthy-Tesler. I can't spend any money for them, okay? But for me, what I want to do is be able to get our students, Holly Springs, Campobello Grambling School, those schools that we aren't necessarily going to probably touch in the next few years, and give them a safer structure for our kids that are playing sports or just participating in PE, because we do have some of those kids. And those synthetic floors, very different from tile floors, do have a padding that provides a safer barrier, okay? Now, Landrum Middle, you talking about wood, Mr. McCraw. Well, that's exactly right. Schools like the high school, okay, they're going to want wooden floors because that's what everybody plays most college, except volleyball, sports on. Well, we're not planning to touch Landrum Middle School for many, many years. That's one of I'm speaking from an athletic guy, that's one of the best gyms we have in the district. We want to put a new wood gym floor in there, and one thing that no one else knows, that floor has never been changed. That is the original wooden gym floor when that gym was built. It's never been changed. And what happens is after years and years of refinishing wooden floors, which means you sand them, guess what? There's no more wood to sand. And that's the state that we are currently in at Landrum Middle School. So we can refinish it and put wax on it, but we can never sand it down and repaint it. Like let's say we wanted to put a nice new logo on it. We couldn't do that. And with that school going to be there an extended period of time, okay, which is what we believe, then let's go ahead and put a wooden gym floor in there to be able to house those middle school sports. That's the purpose of that. The elementary, with the exception of Mabry. Well, the wood has spring in it as well. Okay, so it is much safer, and those middle school kids are typically more active, more agile, not as clumsy, and not as likely to get hurt. Yeah, I've got one actually. You're welcome. Any other questions?
I don't have a question, but I would like to say thank you for, you've evidently just dissected this every way you can, and we don't know what the outcome's going to be, and it's very informative, it's very helpful, and each month when you come back, the things we ask for, you've more than covered those. And I'd also like to say the work that Dr. Beeson has done in HR, because people are grabbing at teachers whenever they can find them. And from the information we got, it looks like we're getting good replacements, and so our retirees that are wanting to come back, our instructional program, and that these ladies have worked on and reviewed and tested in teacher committees, all of the students that were recognized tonight for academics, for athletics, for fine and performing arts, stretching all the way across. There's a lot of great stuff going on here, and our kids deserve the best. It's not going to be easy, but it looks like everybody is going above and beyond, and I'm very appreciative. It really does help me, and it clarifies so much. So thank all of you. My number one, I shouldn't say this, but my biggest fault is my mouth. And I feel so much better when I understand. And I appreciate each one of y'all for what the board asked for it, and you all delivered. You might have wondered, well, why did they want that? But thank you so much. And I feel really good about it, and it's an honor to serve. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Mr. Vanderford. And remember, as we go through this each month, you'll get an update. I will highlight those changes, whether they're additions or subtractions. Those will be given to you so that you are aware of those.
I have one final question. The renovation of the Head Start classrooms, are those going to be repurposed for something? And if so, what are they repurposed for?
Currently, we've moved a couple of teachers into that space. I do know that Spartanburg County Parks and Rec utilizes that space as well. But that would finalize, the renovation would be new ceiling tile and lights is what we're talking about. New ceiling tile, new LED lighting, and some new flooring. That would just get that school complete. But that's one of those that, depending on the plan, you know, we could be building a new Inman Elementary School years down the road. And the growth that we're seeing in that area too. 100%, yes, ma'am.
I got one question.
All right.
On the replacing the irrigation system on the athletic fields, which one or ones are you going to replace this year?
Priority would be right here, Landrum High School baseball and softball would be priority.
Okay. Can you give us an update on maybe putting new meters in there to separate the water going through the sewer system?
Yeah, I've
and
talked
other-
with Mr. Sumner, who works with Inman Campobello Water, several times. It's going to take a little bit of work, actually a whole lot of work, to get that, because when this thing, when it was built, the isolation valves are all over the campus. And when we have a water issue at one field, we have to go and cut off multiple, and I mean multiple isolation valves in order to get that water to cut off. Mr. Rollins, Mr. Cothran, y'all may be able to help me with this, but when you've got that many isolation valves that you have to cut off, it's hard to be able to tie that 1 meter for irrigation in a singular spot. And that's the hiccup that Mr. Sumner and our discussions have been. I continue to talk with him about it, what's some ways we can do this. But I'm striking out on that. We'll continue to investigate, though. Yes, sir. Anybody else?
Jason, one more thing. Lacey, I left you out, and,
Left Jada out too.
well, I'm gonna tell Jada.
I'm going to go sit down while you give all your thank yous.
Yeah, but the detail and that Lacey has to work with and not knowing how certain things, and yet she keeps digging in and gives us all this info. I do appreciate that, and I'm sure the entire board does. We asked for it, and you've delivered. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vanderford. We appreciate that.
If I'm not mistaken, before we adjourn, the Chapman High School baseball team beat Broome tonight, so I think we are the regional champions. They had to win tonight, so.
It's a big win.
Yep.
That's it, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Brady. Thank you, Mr. McCraw. With no further business, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a
motion to adjourn.
Thank you,
I'll
Mr.
second
Coffey.
that.
We've got a motion.
second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. McDowell. We have a motion.
You said it.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please show by raising your right hand. Any opposed? Welcome to stay. It's unanimous. We're adjourned. Thank you all.